Let me introduce Paula. We met, what, a year ago maybe at a seminar, and I was very impressed. Wonderful lady. You co-founded Edge Velocity in 2004, guided this innovative wireless mesh technology. So that's a technology, you were talking point-to-point, that's a technology where what you transmit from one radio to another, to another, to another, to get the information down. If one radio fails, then you find another point. So what do you call that when, is it self-healing? Is that, yeah, okay. So it's a self-healing network that not if something fails, but when it fails, how do we recover to keep going? So this is particularly what Paula's company is good at. So let's see here. So you're in the first responder, transportation and government markets, named in October as the #1 fastest growing woman-led company in New Hampshire. Congratulations. Business Hampshire Magazine. Ranked 4 as the top 10 fastest growing women-led companies in Boston by Inc. magazine. Prior to Edge Velocity, you served as president of business development for Third Rail Broadband Wireless Systems, Northeast Channel Manager for Legato Systems, and EMC. Thank you for coming.
Well, good evening, everyone. Happy to see all of you who came out in this weather. That's pretty brave of all of you. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, and I just want to thank the Venture Forum for selecting Edge Velocity to come here and speak and tell you about our business and tell you about our financial journey to date. So we're looking forward to sharing that information with you. And I want to express that this is our story, and it's just how we chose to build the company and the steps that we took. I'm going to take, during this presentation, just give you an overview of the financial instruments that we used, a little bit about Edge Velocity, and why we made some of these decisions, and then drill down into some details of financial transactions that we did that helped Edge Velocity grow and move along the way. So who are we? Edge Velocity was founded in late 2004 by myself and my business partner, Frank Knox, who serves as the CTO of Edge Velocity. Edge Velocity is a developer and manufacturer of a highly specialized mobile IP wireless mesh technology, which is driven by our proprietary software, our proprietary hardware, and our proprietary processes. We are enabling immediate communications of voice, video, and data to stationary and mobile users in extreme type environments, whether subterranean in a subway, in a sub-basement, in building communications with rapid deploy type devices that we have. We are also enabling the customers that we're focused on, the industry that we're focused on, to interconnect incompatible devices so that they can communicate in the field, especially in these harsh environments. The customers that we're focused on, the markets, we're focused on the first responder community, government, military, transportation, and securing our critical infrastructure. Some of our customers are Raytheon, Fire Department of New York City, and Federal Transit Administration, DRS Technologies, Fire Department of New York EMS Division, several police departments, and the list is growing. We have a very, very exciting year that we're looking forward to in 2015. We expect Edge Velocity to be a 10-year overnight sensation. Some of the financial instruments that we use, of course, is sweat equity, and then loans, SBA loans, loans from friends and family, your visas, revolving credit, equity investments into the company, vendor and customer financing, delayed payment structure, payment plans, any profit that came into the company under contracts that we received, they were reinvested into Edge Velocity. And then we're in a convertible loan note, and we'll go through that in some more detail. So let's talk about the traditional bootstrapping that Edge Velocity used to grow the business. Myself and my business partner, Frank Knox, we were very successful in our previous lives, and we were able to put in cash into the company, make that investment into Edge Velocity. We believed in ourselves, we believed in the core mission of Edge Velocity, and we also set aside funds so that we could work full-time in building the company. We set aside personal funds to live off of while we really focused on building Edge Velocity. But I want to take a step back and provide you information on the driving force of why we went down this particular path and didn't not work with financial institutions. We did, in fact, go out and talk to VCs, and we've been on Wall Street, and we've talked to micro VCs and private investors that were very wealthy. And every deal that was put in front of us was a bad deal. And Edge Velocity would not be here today if we accepted any one of those offers. Very disappointing. We had, over a course of several years, probably about $7 million in offers to come into the company. And we had quite a few people look at these offers, and it was all concluded through attorneys and whatnot that it was just a bad deal. It was unfortunate. So now I want to make this very clear that we do not believe that all VCs are bad. They are not. We don't believe that all investors are bad. They are not. At this time in the company, we were not attracting quality investors. So from there, taking that, you brush yourself off, and you just keep growing. We believed in the mission of this company, and that was to improve communications for our first responders and get them what they needed. And our family believed in us, our parents. We went out into the friends and family network. Our family stepped up. They believed in myself. They believed in my business partner. They knew what we were capable of. And thank God for Mom and Dad. They stepped up to the plate and provided additional funding, whether through loans or through equity in the company. And then it was friends of friends. We networked. Everyone believed in us. We had a very good reputation. We worked off of that. Of course, there was core people in the company that worked for sweat equity. We worked for a lot of years without any pay. Thankfully, we were in a position where we put that money aside for ourselves to live off of and really focus on building this company and delivering that critical type of technology and improving communications for our first responders and government agencies and making a difference out there. We negotiated payments with attorneys, with accountants, you name it, to either delayed payment structures or payment plans. And for those specialized consultants that we needed to lean on, such as your software coders, we worked out special equity type arrangements to bring their specialized services into the company. So let's take a moment here to go through some details so you understand what we're sharing with you. This is sensitive information, it's private, we're a privately held company, but we feel that it is important to share some sensitive information so that other individuals, business owners can really get a good sense of what other companies have gone through. So we raised, under the Friends and Family Network, about in or around $1 million that we brought into the company. Again, it was personal cash infusion that went into the company. Equity, small loan combination, and we stuck pretty close to the Friends and Family Network. And that's what we raised in going through that. We did step outside a little bit on the Friends and Family Network, and we took in a strategic investor. This is a a company that is based in Massachusetts, very large, respected contractor in Massachusetts. They became aware of Edge Velocity. The CEO of the company loved our technology. He loved the different approach that we were taking and the problems that we were solving. Edge Velocity's ability to communicate in a mobile environment enabled us to work with the MBTA to provide them with real-time video and send that back to their operations center. So what this contractor liked about us, they worked with the MBTA for years, but that relationship kind of went away. The strategic investor saw this as an opportunity to re-engage with the MBTA. That opened up the doors for Edge Velocity. It was a win-win for both parties. We received an investment from the initial investment from the strategic investor of $150,000. That was equity in the company. Actually, excuse me, the first one was $100,000, the second was $50,000 investment, and his third investment in the company was a $100,000 loan. 4-year terms, 6% coupon on that. So he believed in us, continuing to believe in Edge Velocity, and he supported us throughout the years. You know, these are smaller investments, but it was a tremendous amount of money for us. There's a lot that you can do with that kind of money coming into the company. Let's look at customer and vendor financing. Vendor financing with our critical partner of ours, our manufacturer. They're located in Massachusetts. They believed in Edge Velocity as well. They saw that we had something very different with our technology, and they were willing to work with us. There was an engineering process that we needed to go through that required funds that were rather expensive to pay for, but they were designing our routers, our networking routers, so that we could put product on the shelf. They extended payments for us. In addition to that, they also, once the product was designed and tested and manufactured, they put the product on the shelf for us and continue to do so. So they stock Edge Velocity's routing systems, and we're able to draw down from that. When we get a contract in, we draw down the product from the manufacturer. They house the technology for us. And then on top of that, they extend additional payment terms on top of that. Customer A financing, this was a fantastic contract. This was with the Federal Transit Administration. We obtained a $400,000 grant to conduct a study of a subway train overlay location system. This application was layered on top of the system that was laid out with the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority. This was on the Green Line, and we were able to track trains wirelessly in real time and send that information back to the operations center. This was an end-to-end wireless system. This was a first of its kind deployment, along with the initial deployment that we did with the MBTA with video cameras as well. So we're pretty proud of that. That $400,000 grant that came in, the FTA accepted Edge Velocity's request for a 30% upfront startup fees on this contract. And we received $120,000 in cash from the FTA. And any additional invoices after that, once we reached milestones that were related to the statement of work, they paid us within 7 to 10 days. So it kept that cash flow coming in, and this was just a fabulous contract for us to work on. Customer B financing. This is a Tier 2 government contractor, a $6 billion contractor. And this was an $800,000 contract. The customer was the Fire Department of New York EMS Division. We are supporting a electronic patient care record system that is providing mobile communications for EMTs out in the field. Edge Velocity's equipment is in 700 ambulances currently. This is the first phase of this contract. We are EMTs out in the field in a mobile environment are able to access critical information about a patient that they pick up. Do they have a heart disease? Do they have a heart issue, diabetes? So the EMT out in the field is able to get this critical information while they're in the field This is of Edge Velocity's equipment is in this particular vehicle. And they're also able to implement, through the software, put information in about the patient that is going to the hospital. So there's a simultaneous link out in the field where the arriving hospital is able to get critical information about that patient that's coming in. So Edge Velocity is supporting the communications, mobile communications of this critical application in the field. This contract, again, was $800,000. Edge Velocity requested a 30% deposit on this contract. The prime contractor did not like that. They didn't even want to pay a deposit on this. But we were successful, and we were able to negotiate a 20% deposit on this contract, which gave Edge Velocity $160,000 in funds. We had net 30 payment terms, and all future invoices moving forward, we factored in that deposit. So that was the repayment method for customer B. Customer C, very large company, $26 billion company, 24. This was, at the time, was a $1.4 million contract. That's not the current value of this contract today. This is a lovely contract that keeps on giving. So, but at the initial signing of this contract, we negotiated a 50% deposit on this. And the reason for that is that we had a very long relationship with this very large customer. We proved ourselves to this business. We're a small business. We've gone through an extensive audit on our business. We've gone on our business, and in addition, an extensive audit on our technology. We showed value to this customer, that we were able to assist them in winning a contract and maintaining a contract and keeping their name good and getting the job done. Was this difficult to do? Absolutely. Did we have to go through multiple layers of management to get sign-off and to get this large number negotiated? Yes, it was tough, but we got the job done. So, invoices moving forward, factored in the 50% deposit, and the logistics got a little confusing for a bit, but we figured that out, and we're all set on that one. In fact, I just want to say quickly, we're actually in heavy negotiations with this customer C, I can't disclose the name, where we are acquiring non-core technology from this customer. And it's pretty exciting where we are right now in acquiring this technology. It's a command and control software application that we believe is going to bring Edge Velocity to a position where we'll dominate the first responder community and still work very closely with this particular customer as we grow and expand and go into more first responders. Want to continue, a little bit on customer and vendor financing. All of our attorneys, every single one of them, these are your Boston-based attorneys, and negotiated payment terms. Just recently, one of our corporate attorneys moved to a new firm. Request for no retainer was accepted. There's things like that you can do, and it might save you $5,000. We didn't have to pay that retainer. It's little things like that that are going to keep the cash in the company. Any of the hardware vendors, most of them were able to negotiate longer payment terms or delayed payment terms. Any type of specialized consultants. We do request on contracts that are $25,000 and above. We do continue to put a 10% deposit on that, or if it's larger, that deposit number increases. And again, everything all profits that come into Edge Velocity go back into Edge Velocity. They're all reinvested. So let's talk about the convertible loan note. We are currently in the middle of a convertible loan note. And this instrument has brought in about $350,000. The goal that we placed on this convertible loan note is $600,000. We would like to get the remaining $250,000 in by the end of January 31st of 2015. We placed a very attractive valuation on this convertible loan note of $9 million. We put that offer out there. First off, the two investors that stepped up are very sophisticated investors. They're quality investors. They're the type of investors that we're looking for our business, that add value, that have morals and values. But one of their requests, both of them, they wanted to have a number in this convertible loan note. They wanted to see that valuation. They are willing to convert into equity on their convertible loan note, but we did have to bend and put that valuation in. The package that we provided investors, and that we are providing investors, a very strong one-page executive summary, a strong business plan, along with financials, forecast, what the convertible loan note offer is through your attorneys. They can prepare, your corporate attorneys can prepare this for you. And an illustrative investment example. This is going to provide an example for the investors, what if they did convert their convertible loan into equity in the company. On an up round, what are they going to look at? What's the value that they could get with an exit of the company? So examples of that was given to the investors to work with. Yes?
Could you just describe the attractive pre-money valuation? What does the $9 million have to do with borrowing the money?
We want them to obtain equity in the company. They wanted to get locked into a low valuation. The next slide, we are going into a much larger raise. This was the short-term raise. They wanted something attractive. They know that the valuation of the company is going to go up quite a bit, and they wanted to get locked into that lower number.
Yeah, okay.
So it is not only you two who own the company, then you also have investors who are part of who are shareholders in a way, or not really?
I don't understand. I'm sorry, what was that?
So is it only you two who own the company, or are you giving off some of the company to these investors?
Yes, we have a pool of funds, a pool of equity that is available for investors that are coming in. The company's closely held. We have some friends and family that have equity in the company. So that there is stock that's out there that's above and beyond myself and my business partner. I'd say we probably have 35 equity holders, shareholders in the company.
I mean, just to answer both questions, the 250,000 is set at a valuation of $9 million, so that gives an automatic 3.7% of that 250,000. So the certainty over that 250,000 of how much equity in the company that will convert into. Normally, convertibles don't have a valuation, so you just have to fly with the wind and hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, please meet Ian Smith, our COO and CFO. All right. So what does the funding look like for the next 3 years for Edge Velocity? We are preparing the business for a $5 million raise. Our goal is to pull in these funds by early, by I'd say April timeframe of 2015. And that's a big project. We already have quite a few investors, micro VCs. These are healthy investors. These are quality investors. We feel that we are at a very good place in Edge Velocity where we've proven the technology. We have incredible customers that have validated the markets, our technology, the business, and we're in a position where we're able to have more control over who we bring and who we attract to the business. Currently, Siemens Venture Capital is looking at our business plan. This is also going out to Intel Venture Capital along with Cisco venture capital. We have a couple micro VCs in New Hampshire, and we're looking at some VCs right now in Silicon Valley. So we are preparing the company for a much larger round and increasing revenue over the years and safely scaling the business. We do have existing contracts that we're able to scale as well. New York City is our, we work very well in New York City, and we're very fortunate that they welcomed us with open arms. There's many departments there that we're working with above and beyond the Fire Department of New York, and it's been a real privilege working in that city. There is another project that we are involved in that does relate to the Internet of Things, but it's more the industrial net of things. We're in heavy contract negotiations on the development of a new technology to support a national deployment of protecting our rural electrical grids. As you know, that is a target, critical infrastructure you have to do. Our goal is to protect critical infrastructure, assist our first responders. This is just a perfect fit for Edge Velocity. In developing this particular system for this customer, we will be layering it's a network within a network within a network. We're real excited about this design and what that's going to do. It's going to provide smart grid type communications for the electrical grid. It provides the electrical grid companies with the information that they need in the field to become more effective. In addition to that, there's a security element to this as well. We're working with government agencies, cannot disclose that, who they are, but there's a security element to this particular design that we're working on. In addition to that, this network will also include communications for our first responders. They are the ones that need to come out and respond to any type of incident. Should anything happen with any of these critical infrastructures and the electrical grids, which is why Edge Velocity is focused on buying this command and control application from customer C. It plays into our story, it enhances the communications, it provides coordination in the field, and we're enhancing the security of our critical infrastructure. So, I think I'm kind of getting all of that in there. Our objective is to be cash flow positive by 2016, and we believe that an acquisition of Edge Velocity is the most likely exit strategy for our shareholders. We anticipate the sale of Edge Velocity to a large networking provider, networking technology company, or an infrastructure systems provider. The leading industry-leading companies, they typically are built by acquisitions. And they are the ones that are looking for the innovative technologies. They're looking for technologies that will assist them in achieving greater financial success in their chosen markets. Edge Velocity has innovative technology. We have pioneering deployments. We have a very healthy intellectual patent portfolio, and we are solving and working within very specific niche markets, which make Edge Velocity an attractive buy. And after that, I'm going to take a very nice vacation because I haven't had one, a really real one, in a long time. So it's been a long journey. We had to go through a process of proving the technology, proving our business, and getting under the wings of the Raytheons of the world. And it's been exciting. It certainly brings tears to your eyes at times. It does. Yes, sir.
Just a question. How many years has it been?
It's been
from thought to now, not from.
Sure. Yep. Late 2004. And here's why. There's a couple things. The driving force behind the formation of Edge Velocity is September 11th. I was personally scheduled to be there that day, staying at Tower 3, Marriott Tower 3. Just a fluke. My meeting was rescheduled. And it was just, as we learned about more about September 11th, and that the likely loss of 343 firefighters came down to communications. The police knew to get out of the building, out of the towers, but the fire department didn't get that critical information. And it just was incomprehensible that here this great nation of ours of innovation did not have the technology and to assist in stuff like that. So, you know, my path changed. Very early on in late 2004, we were actually involved, we had beta equipment. We were involved in a alpha field trial with a company called Deepcom, and we participated in this field trial in a potash mine in Saskatchewan, Canada. We were 1.5 miles underground. We had equipment above ground, a routing, very beta type system above ground. We had one device below ground and another device on a man trip that actually brought the miners below ground. And we established connectivity deep in the tunnel. It was incredible, the data rates that we were getting at that time, so that's when we knew we had something special, and we just decided to get this done. Yes, sir.
I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
Going back to the beginning, if you didn't have sort of the luxury of the personal funds to live off of and invest initially in the company, do you think you would have taken one of those deals that was presented to you, or were the terms so distasteful that you just would have walked away and there'd be no edge velocity?
The terms were so bad. You know, unfortunately, corporate raiders are alive and well. And I don't think we would have taken any one of those deals. And it was unfortunate that it was not just one, not two, not three. It was quite a few deals. And every single one of them, they were not workable at all.
My second question has to do with the customer financing. You described a little bit about customer C and why you were able to get those great terms. But on first A and B, what was the magic leverage that you were able to bring against these behemoths? You know, those are pretty advantageous terms that you got, which is not typical. Did you have some magic leverage over them?
Well, with the FTA on government contracts and grants, you can, as a small business, absolutely. It's much easier to get those flexible terms. You need startup fees. So that one was fairly easy. They typically work well with the small businesses. They understand how difficult it is. So it's easier to get that type of deposit. With customer B, on the $800,000, I pushed the small business aspects. We're a growing business, and this is what we require. I use that card, and that seemed to get the job done. It took a bit. I had to talk to a few people. Oh boy, here we go. Go ahead.
So the deposit, when you tell somebody to give me a deposit, if you do not deliver, do you return that money, or is it like a deposit that you keep?
It depends on what is negotiated in the contract. I would think that they would want that money back. In fact, that did come up in conversation with customer B. Yes, if they gave us the yes, that did come up. If they gave us the deposit and we failed to deliver, in our contract we did owe the money back, but we made sure we followed through on that contract. Okay. Yes, sir.
I'm just curious, going forward, as you grow the company, are these more contracts you would bid on, or is it direct municipality deals? Like, how do you do your sales going forward? What's that look like?
Sales is lumpy, and we don't have a sales force. Yeah. So what we currently have, we have existing contracts that are going to continue to grow. They're going to expand. We're a subcontractor under prime contractors. There's things that, because the technology is unique, there's several large fire departments that are opening the doors, and that there isn't any other product out there that they can source because it's very unique, so it allows us for them to buy what they need.
Do they sole source with you, or do you still have to?
Under a pilot, yeah, there's a couple things, but we can work directly. We're under existing contracts. We're growing contracts. This next phase that we're going into, it's imperative that we get a sales team that can focus on the small and medium size and the security elements of Edge Velocity, where our solutions can fit into a university, work for a university, any type of hospital, campus, corporate campus. So it's much easier to work in that environment. I hope that, Ian, do you want to?
I think it's worth bringing up one point, which is kind of strangely a software as a service point, which is you don't want to start the new year having to acquire Mount Everest every year. You want some carry forward from the previous year, which is the compelling part of the SaaS model. There's a lot of that in this model, surprisingly so, because if you look at New York, okay, it's the first responder market, but it's actually a mixture of politicians, police and fire chiefs are very tight in every city, Boston no exception. So once you can actually exploit by delivering high value and deliver a solution, New York has become quite a hub for Edge Velocity, and we're very, very well, we're almost farming New York. And you can sort of imagine that happening in most major cities. So the sales force will probably be quite light, really. I don't think it's going to be a huge inside sales team. This will be a relationship building, farming, and it's the same with transportation, same with infrastructure.
One of the things you'll notice in these cities,
Talk to the back.
in the cities, when you go to the cities, like New York City, for instance, first responders are always looked up to on newer technologies. I don't know why it was never really done before, but nowadays they've been given so much money for technologies that the police department has their own technology group, the fire department has their own technology group. They still don't talk to each other. But when one product is out there that everyone really likes, like, oh, it's really cool, what do you have? Well, the next thing you know, you're getting a phone call from that other group because they want what they have. And that starts to actually grow your business for you without you actually having to have that sales channel. And the good thing is it's out there. So when they're at a fire scene, the police see it working. You got your National Guard out there, they see it working. So next thing you know, they're making calls, a lot of things start rolling into play for you because you're out there developing products with those specific groups. They may not be the exact same box, but it's a box that does 99% of what they need already. They just need that 1% extra for themselves. And that becomes another marketable product for you for other groups in other parts of the country.
Okay. Wow. All right. I don't know who was up first. Yes, sir.
I wonder, trying to get these special terms must have taken a lot of negotiating.
Absolutely. Well, with customer C, yeah.
Did you lose customers because you were looking for these special terms, or were there customers that you could have had if you had a standard contract, but because you were looking to use this, and I'm assuming you use the special terms to help to self-finance the company, did you lose customers in the process?
Multitask, no, we did not lose customers. The negotiations with customer C was very difficult. Yes, it was time consuming. Not too bad. They gave in to us, they saw value. They're actually pulling us into other projects within their business. They saw value in our technology. So we got a little deeper into customer C, and they saw the strength of our small business. The word just is getting out about our company. Opportunities come to us. We're able to take that on and just get it done. So it wasn't a negative at all. It didn't take us away from anything else. We just focused on everything and got it done. You had a question, ma'am.
I was just wondering if you are considered or have qualified as a woman-owned business, and if that provided any advantage in financing.
Currently, yes, we are a woman-owned business. And in fact, this was a discussion this morning. During the larger round, that will affect the status of being a woman-owned business. with customer C, they are using, they like that, you know, we're a woman-owned business. But this is something that you have to face, that when you're taking in the larger funds, you have to look at, we need the funding, something has to go. We're still a small business. We've worked it out where on what my business partner and I, what's important to us as we go into this next phase is to own 51% of the company. And we've worked out the stock calculation to support that and to pull in and provide equity for this larger round to support that. So that's going to be going away. However, everyone, the team wants to keep myself in place. I've made that request. I'd like to see the company all the way through to an acquisition, and you know, passionate about the business, and we're getting the job done. So, good question. Let me, yes, sir.
How did you find, or how did you find customers B and C, or how did they find you?
So, customer B was forced to work with us. We have a very good relationship with the Fire Department of New York, and they are bringing us into a lot of opportunities. And this particular project that we were involved in with the EMC division, if you read the press releases, you'll be able to figure this out. Because we've proven the technology, it was a competitive situation. We were successful in the technology competition. Fire Department of New York wanted edge velocity system. They reached out to customer B and said, you need to work with edge velocity. So we were very fortunate with that. The same thing with customer C. Fire Department of New York is the international hub of innovation, and whatever they want, they get. So with customer C, they introduced us to customer C.
So you'll be making a large charitable
I know.
Also explain too that it wasn't just straight up like that. We also had to go through a competition with 14 other vendors and other technologies to actually achieve that area. So it wasn't totally straightforward. Here you go to the project. There was a lot of... No,
it wasn't easy at all. Yeah, we were up against our competitors, head-to-head, big names, Fortune 100 companies, Fortune 500 companies. They put us out in the field, live demonstrations. They were conducted at the World Trade Center Tower 7, live drills with 100+ firefighters, Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, and we had to support an application in the field, establish connectivity in a building, which is Kevlar glass. It's a bomb-proof building, and we had to bring that back out to a command vehicle. Our competitors were unable to support this application. So through our successful relationship with FDNY, and they put us through a lot, we were able to work well with customer C and make some requests. So, yes, ma'am.
I'm just curious about the product. Is there software or hardware? What's involved with that? And when you're doing these tests to prove out, is there any thinking that you have to do on the fly that, you know, oh, we get to reprogram this, we have to tweak that? The hardware, obviously, you probably couldn't change, but if there's software involved, how does that work?
Excellent question. Thank you very much for asking that. I didn't want to dive too much into the technology side and wanted to focus more on the financials, which is why you're here.
I apologize to everyone here, but this is so interesting.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So the core of Edge Velocity is our Linux-based software code. We saw things differently. We saw that the industry, there was tremendous technology gaps that were not being addressed in the industry. There wasn't any kind of intelligence in the routing system, in the wireless routing system. layers of stuff, self-healing, load balancing. There's a tremendous amount of smarts that has been put into the software code. We also felt that our customers, each environment is so different. They have different mission requirements. They have different technologies that need to interoperate in their communication system, whether it's robotics or infrared cameras, chemical sensors. We built a platform that is flexible to interconnect with these devices and work within their environment and work within existing heterogeneous type infrastructures, backhauls and whatnot. Our competitors are quite different in how they approach customers such as this. That they pretty much have their software code locked, their technology locked, and they'll present that to the customer and say, well, here's our solution. You need to conform to our system. We didn't see it that way. We saw it as, here's our technology, we'll conform to you. We built it where it was so flexible that some minor customization could be done to communicate with these other technologies that they have and within their environment. So
dynamic, agile,
yeah.
conforming.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yep. We have proprietary processes, proprietary software, proprietary hardware designs. That was all missing. And we didn't want to repeat the same thing that everybody else put out there. We wanted to take a different path. So.
Thank you, Paula.
Yes, I know. Thank you.